All right, what's up, everybody? Hey, how's it going? I am trying to make sure that it looks like I might only have one. Let me know if you can see and hear me real quick. That would be great. Let me know in the chat, and we'll get started in just a second. Trying to see, I thought. Hey, everyone. Was trying to see. I thought I was going to have this might be a little more awkward, but I thought I was going to be able to switch between two cameras because I've got my computer camera right here. I've got my computer camera and then I've got my webcam. And the idea was okay, let's do the webcam on my face and then the live cam on the desk. But so, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. John, Susan, Jenna, the next chapter, Keith. All right, everyone's saying that looks good. I don't think I'm going to be able to change the I don't think I'm going to be able to change the camera on this, which is kind of a bummer. We'll probably just stick with Zoom going forward for some of these, even though I do like I do really like the ability to just go live on YouTube. But, just kind of the nature of the channel is that I would like to mostly be able to show you the actual, would like to be able to show you the actual, desk and then as well show you my face. Welcome, Coach Pritch, Matt Ben, JP, what's up? Excellent. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. We've got 50 right now. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. This is great. And looks like if y'all can do me a favor, for some reason it's not showing me your do me a quick favor. If for some reason it's not showing, if you're on my email list, one, you should sign up to the email list. It's mattragland.com/thinkers. But if you got my email yesterday saying like, hey, go leave a comment, go leave a chat, it removed all of those. So sorry about that. Welcome, Mateen and Vince and Sarah and Johan. Yeah, I've got a way to do it, Johan. I just thought that I could do it directly here on YouTube, but obviously not the case. So won't make this mistake again. I'm probably going to put this on unlisted afterwards. So it's pretty much just going to be us. No one else will ever see this. It'll be a really special thing we all have together. I hope that the audio sounds good as well because I have a mic hooked up here, but now I can't. It won't let me see. Yeah, I'm never going to do this again. It won't let me see which microphone I'm hooked into either, which is frustrating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Only us. Don't tell anyone else about this. All right. All right. So do me a favor. Just the way that this is set up, I haven't live streamed on YouTube in a little while. I haven't live streamed on YouTube for a little while, so thanks for bearing with me. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it into the chat, and I might ask you to, if I don't get to it right away, just basically keep asking it. That's totally okay with me. It doesn't bother me. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, and again, I thought I was going to be able to kind of switch back and forth between the two, between my computer and between YouTube. My bad. Won't make this mistake again. It'll be a little bit better setup. But the thing that the video that went out on Saturday, thank you so much for engaging with it, for leaving comments. I know there is a giveaway element to that, and I'm excited to give away a Full Focus planner. And thank you to Full Focus Planner for sponsoring my YouTube channel this month. Great friend of the channel, and some of the most popular reviews that I've created are about Full Focus. They've just been a great supporter, and I love their mission of helping you win at work and succeed at life. I think it's awesome. I think it's very applicable. even in a really chaotic time. What I think is, I think the structure that we're going to talk about some that you saw in the video, but the structure, which oftentimes with guided planners, I don't, sometimes like as much structure. And I feel like there's wasted space just because like not everything that's in there I do. But I have really liked it recently because I don't want to think I don't want to think about things any more than I have to. I don't know how many of y'all feel like that, but there are certain things in terms of productivity that if I can just, kind of disengage that from my brain and just kind of go with someone else's plan or structure for a little bit, then I'm cool doing that. Just because it lets me still like really focus on the things that matter to me. And if I don't have to worry about like a new template or trying to lay something out or making, I don't know, to each his own, because I've definitely gone through stretches also where sometimes just making that same kind of layout in the bullet journal time after time is almost like a little bit of a meditative practice. I can almost turn my brain off and be like, all right, time to make a bunch of lines over several pages and just get those done. All right, 88 live right now. Like I said, go ahead, drop into the chat. Let me know your name, where you're from. Give this a thumbs up. That is a big indicator to YouTube. I'm going hard on YouTube this year as much as I have any of the past 2 years. And yeah, just trying to grow the channel, and your engagement, your watches, your thumbs up, your comments, your chat, all make a big difference in that. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Okay, let's get into the content. This will probably go like 20, 30 minutes. And I have a meeting at the top of the hour. So I'm going to have to scoot. But again, thank you so much for being here. The analog to digital back to analog workflow. That's what we're going to spend basically the majority of the time on. We'll also get into some questions. But the analog to digital back to analog setup. So to put it in a nutshell, you probably got this from the video, but for those of you that didn't watch the video yet, number one, please go watch the video. Leave a comment so you can be entered to win a full focus planner. Comment on the last video. If someone can drop a link to the last video into the chat, I would really appreciate that. That way, other people can see it. Go watch. Give it a thumbs up and a comment so you can be entered to win. That'll be huge. And then so what I do with that, because it's a really common question that I get when I'm on podcasts or just when I'm exchanging emails. I've had, I don't know if Tevi is on this live stream, but a lot of people that I've talked to about this, because they might ask questions like, well, do you use like digital productivity apps at all? Yes, I do. And like, how do you balance that? Because it can be a little tricky. And the way that I do it is that I do all of my initial brainstorming, planning, like task creation, all of it goes into a planner or a bullet journal. So I showed you this back on the notes page for full focus planner right here. So I just get everything down. And what I put in here, I was getting a bunch of stuff down for the video, but I will make a lot more notes than that. And I just have entire sections often in, like here's even when I was putting together the video for this, like even just putting it in my OG bullet journal. You can see right here, I don't know if this is going to look backwards to you, but analog, digital, analog, productivity workflow. I have all of my brainstorm notes for this project, for this video. Yeah, for this video, all right here. Like I'm brainstorming video ideas to partner with Full Focus Planner on. I have like a whole list of sponsors that I want to reach out to. So anything that I do those are actually both good, really good examples, because for either one, I'm just making like, let's even take the sponsor example. So I'm taking just a brainstorm list of who are all the sponsors that I could possibly work with that are going to be good fits for the channel, that are going to be companies that I use, that I work with, and that will be a good fit for like y'all to be interested in. I'll make that list in the bullet journal in the Full Focus Planner, and then I will take that and I will move that often into Notion. There are a few different apps that I use. I use Bear Notes for a lot, which I know several of you use Bear Notes now, and it's my favorite writing program. Um, the other one, so I mentioned Notion, Bear Notes. I've been using Rome Research a little bit more. That's a whole nother video. But then let's just stick it in, keep it in Notion because that's the one that I use most consistently. But say for the sponsor example, so I make that big list in my bullet journal, and then I have like just a simple like basically spreadsheet database in Notion. And you saw this example in like just for a task management database in the video. But then I'll create a row or a record for every single sponsor that I thought of during my brainstorm. And that's when I start to really shift into digital. So I do my initial brainstorm planning in the bullet journal in Full Focus Planner, and then I move it into Notion. And I make a row or a record for every single sponsor that I'm interested in, and then I can start to put different, just different pieces of the record together. So it might be, when did I last reach out to them? What is the status of the pitch? Like, did I make the pitch? Am I waiting for a call? Did I book it? Did it not work out? So I have like a status indicator there, and then I'll have like another date column that would be, instead of when did I last reach out to them, I'm saying to myself like, okay, if we booked it, what is the duration of the sponsorship? Is it a month? Is it 3 months? And then what was the agreed upon fee? So I have like all these states in Notion, and I wish that I could kind of show you a better example. But if you go, let me actually bring this video up for you from yesterday for those of you that may not have seen it yet. But you can go in and see an example of this. You can go in and see an example of this in, here we go. Check this out. You can see an example of this in the Notion section of like this little database that I've kind of put together. It's around the 9-minute mark, I would say. So basically, at this point, the entire project home lives in Notion at this point. Okay. And so I've gone brainstorm planning in a bullet journal, into the project home, become moving into Notion. And then, but the thing that I do, and so it might be like, for an example, I had Full Focus Planner in the brainstorm, and then I move them into a record in the Notion database. And then I'll look at it and be like, okay, I need to reach out to Full Focus Planner. I need to follow up with them. Then I'll put back in to the Full Focus Planner, very meta. I'll put it back into them. I'll put it back in here. Like this was last Monday, like right down here. I don't know if you can see it, but follow up with the team. And so that is how the whole progression works. And just at a very high level, it'll be brainstorm and plan on paper, create the project home, the project base where everything's going to live. And I'll come back to that in a second in Notion. But then the day to day, the week to week, day to day, like actual to do tasks, I'll then put those back in to the paper, to the notebook, to the journal, to the planner. Okay. So that way, like the second brain, the second brain, to borrow a term from Tiago Forte, um, the second brain lives in Notion. So I don't necessarily like have to keep everything in on paper, because I think where paper really shines is in the brainstorming, the planning, and the actual like daily to-dos, the weekly and daily to-dos. Because that way I try not to be in Notion or any other productivity app like all day, every day, because then, like, especially since, again, I kind of treat Notion as my second brain. There's so many things, even good things, and that's, we can talk about that. There's so many even good things that I can get distracted on inside of Notion because I'm like, oh, well, I need to write for this, or I need to update that, or like I'm curious and adding more content to this page. when what I really need to do is follow up with the full focus team and make sure that the sponsorship is booked. What I really need to do, just on another example, this was from the video. I'm putting together a, how to get, excuse me, I'm putting together a how to get started on YouTube webinar guide workshop. And that's what I need to focus on. I have another webinar on Wednesday, and I need to get the slides together for that. So all of those things kind of really play together, but it goes brainstorm and plan in on paper, move the project home into the digital app, but then the weekly, daily to dos go back in so that I'm not distracted. I'm just looking at those things. So, looking at the chat real quick, Maverick Pilgrim says, "Wait, are you for reals live?" Yes, Maverick Pilgrim, I am for reals live at 11:16 on May 11th. What's up? Okay. Da, 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 da. So, okay. I'll look back through the chat in a second. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, yes. So, what do you do in a digital app like Notion, Asana, Trello, whatever, Basecamp, Monday, Taskade is kind of new. I will say, like, if you're interested in digital productivity apps, my friend Francesco, yes, I have a friend named Francesco, which is always fun to say if you've seen Elf. That his channel Keep Productive is really, really good for digital apps. I've been a guest on it a couple of times. But from a digital side, the thing that is really nice with digital apps as opposed, and I have a video about this too, is that with a digital app you can collaborate, you can organize things much better, you can research, and you can edit. So all of those things make it really valuable. I'm not in any way saying like don't use digital apps. Like I think that's kind of silly at this point, but it is something. It's just it's two different ways of working in my in my opinion. So Daryl's saying, how do you keep tasks digital and analog in sync? So that's kind of the topic of the video. I shared it a little bit further up, but what I do to keep them in sync is I just kind of work back and forth between. Yeah, it's kind of what I've been saying. So hopefully that made sense. Maverick Pilgrim says, when I use a digital planner or notes, I feel like I'm cheating on my bullet journal. Well, that's all right. The bullet journal, the full focus planner, it can take it. It's okay. You don't have to feel that way. There are some things that are just much better to do in each one. All right, looking back, going in through some of the Q&A now. We'll do this for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll scoot off. Have a great rest of the Monday and into the week. Let's see. Yep. To the next chapter notes that I love Ulysses for writing. Yeah, my friend Sean Blanc is a big Ulysses fan. I haven't used it because I like Bear so much, but I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point. So go ahead and drop any questions you have in here, and we will kind of keep going. So Coach Pritch, thoughts on using an academic year versus the actual calendar year for the next Bujo? Yeah, I think that sounds great. I mean, one of the things that I hope comes across in my videos that I try and be really specific about, especially if you're in one of my courses for either journaling or like time management goal setting, is that what I present to you is what I believe and have used as a really good system. However, what you should do is what works best for you. So you take the principles that you learn from whether it's myself or other people that you might watch about productivity or bullet journaling. Take what you learn from me and apply the best practices to how they fit in your own life. And so, Coach, I think this is a really good example of that because if you say like, "Hey, it kind of makes more sense for me to go on an academic year versus a calendar year," yeah, I mean, when I many moons ago, I was a football lacrosse coach and kind of like floating teacher at a middle school, and yeah, my entire life was based around the academic calendar. Like it was like, yay, it's the new year, sort of. It's also like just halfway through the school year. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So go ahead and drop more questions in, y'all. That's a good one. Let's see. Yeah, and like, thanks for being here live. We're over 100 people now. This is really cool. We'll go for about 5 or 10 more minutes. And then I'm probably going to set this to unlisted because I wasn't able to do everything that I was able to do. I'll try Zoom for the next one because then I can kind of schedule those back and forth. The best way to know the best way to know when I'm doing like these lives is to be on the email list. So go to mattragland.com/thinkers. That's the best place. Hmm, I don't know if that's the best place to sign up for the email list. You may already be on it. And let's see. Okay, it's not there we go. That link worked. Okay, going up a little bit, starting with uh sorry, close Zoom. Vishaka Do you have is asking, do you have a master task list? If yes, is it digital analog? Yeah, I actually created a video about this a couple of weeks ago. So just go back into my backlog and check it out. It's literally called How to Organize a Bullet Journal with a Master Task List. So it's mostly digital, it's mostly analog, but I do kind of keep just like whatever kind of anytime grab bag of tasks, and that's often digital. See, Frank, what do you recommend for staying committed to your bullet journal when you want to slack off or fall off from using it for a few days? Just start again, not to be too simplistic about it, but I think often we overthink these things. We're talking about this a lot in the current journaling class. So I'm teaching a journaling class right now, and that's one of the things that we're talking about a lot is that if you have been doing this for a little while, you build a certain amount of creative confidence in your practice. And so even if you don't do it for a few days, you're not like, oh, woe is me. I didn't do it for a few days. I'm terrible now. You're just like, oh, I didn't do it for a few days. I can start again tomorrow. So yeah, that's kind of a blunt answer. If y'all want to know, I brought this up a couple of times, but I'm going to relaunch my journaling class. Be specific, journaling, not necessarily bullet journaling. That's something else that I'm going to do this summer, but like daily journaling. If you're interested in that, just again sign up for the email list. I'm going to do a new launch later this month, and you'll be able to get a discount and everything. But yeah, creative confidence on it, I think, is really important because if you just miss a few days, it's like with exercise or whatever. I would think one of the things we talk about in the course is think about something in your life that you have a lot of confidence in your ability to do. So even if you don't do it for a little while, when it comes time to do it again, you're just like, oh well, I can do this. Like there are lots of things for people. The one that I kind of grounded myself in was exercise. I've been playing sports and exercising since I was a wee lad. And so, like, if I don't work out for a week, I'm not like, "Oh, I'm fat and awful." I was like, "Oh, I can start working out again." And what's important but, on the flip side of that, I had a lot of trouble with money, to be totally honest, earlier on. I'm getting much better at it. But, like, if I spent $100 what I deemed unwisely, then I would be like, "You are dumb. You cannot handle money." And, like, just filling myself with all it and, like, that would just kind of perpet perpetrate perpetuate the myth inside of my head because I didn't have a lot of confidence in, what I was doing with money. And then I was like then I had a mentor tell me, he's like, "Well, if you don't work out for a week, do you feel bad?" I was like, "No, because I just, start working out again." He's like, "Okay, well, I feel the same way about money. If I lose $1,000, then I don't feel bad because I know that I can make $1,000 back." And I was like, "Huh, that makes a lot of sense." He's like, but conversely, if I gain 10 pounds, I think the world is over. So we all have these things. Think about what your confidence is and kind of use some of those same mindset tricks and lessons to transfer that into other things. Whew. Okay. That was a longer answer, but I hope y'all got a lot out of that. You're welcome, Frank. Great question. All right, I'm gonna scoot through some of these. Let's see. Sorry, again, I'm looking at the chat right here. The camera's here. This isn't what I thought it was gonna be. Actually try and move the old camera around, see if this helps. Don't know if it helps. Will. Will McCann. Digital apps and written best middle ground as a medium. Always use both. Yes. Yeah, I'm just going to be reading some of these. So sorry if I read them out loud. Yeah, Sam was saying I use Evernote for project support, web clipping, digital docs, analog for task management, initial plans, and quick notes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great balance. Jenna, this might be redundant, but how do you go back from digital to analog? Yeah, so again, so once I have the project home in the digital, in this case, Notion. But once I have the product in the digital home, then I will say, like, okay, this is what the status of the project is. What do I need to do this week? And then I'll transfer those weekly, daily tasks from what I have in Notion into my daily, weekly spreads in the journal, the planner, whatever it might be. And my light just went out. Shady Matt, swap this out for y'all. Gotta have decent light. Knew that was gonna happen. Next chapter. Do you have any tips or tricks from project planning? I have a bunch of ideas, but following up is the hardest part. Even you break it down to easy steps. How do you keep yourself accountable? Yeah, this part is tough, and I do have a course about this that I'm like kind of expanding on right now. But it can be challenging to do this, no doubt. The best way to do it is to have some kind of accountability partner or coach that's going to hold your feet to the fire on it. And financial incentive can also help. Like you tend to move forward faster on projects that you need to keep your business going, or if it's something that you really want to do. I've seen people use. I'm trying to remember what the name. I think it's called Stick, STIKK, where you can like give a like a negative financial incentive. So let's just say you're a Republican. Don't what? No, I'm not going to talk about that. Let's just say instead, like you are a fan of a sports team. Like I went to University of Florida, and so a negative implication for me on a project is like, well, if this project is not completed, not the results of it, but if the project isn't completed by X day, then I have to donate $100, $1,000. It's important that it has to be a painful amount. So let's just say $1,000. I have to donate $1,000 to the University of Georgia Athletic Association. That would not be great for me to feel. So I would be more motivated because I don't want to give $1,000 to Georgia, even though I don't really have anything against Georgia. My granddad went there. Let's see. Do you go back very often to old journals to see what you did a year ago? Yeah, I do. Again, kind of brought this up a few times, but we talk about that in the journaling course as well. Yeah, I think you should. Maverick, I do have a recent video about threading. Multiple notebooks and digital tools fit into that. So between the most recent video about analog to digital and the threading, if you go to my channel, they're both very recent videos, and the threading one literally says threading inside of the title. So check that one out. Felix, I saw you talking. A couple more questions. Peter Rolltide. Man, bammers. I saw you talking about the importance of time blocking when having kids at home. Don't recall if you manage your time block analog or digital. Both. Now I do a lot of calls, and so I have to do time blocking to make sure that like when I'm with the boys, I'm not getting requests for calls. So I do use Google Calendar. I've been testing Woven a little bit, but just using Google Calendar to do my booking. Yeah, so I'm still using calendar blocking mostly, but then again, I'm also putting it into the journals as well. Will, how do you cope with distractions from others? If you're stressed out, angry, especially during COVID-19? Yeah, so those are a couple of different like types of distractions. I've been meditating more. Also, the daily journaling as opposed to bullet journaling or planning. But to me, daily journaling is all about thinking and de-stressing. And the bullet journal, the full focus planner, those are normally more about like doing stuff. So a bullet journal, a full focus planner is more about action and productivity, whereas my daily journal is more about like getting my thoughts out, de-stressing, like deconstructing ideas that I have, and then meditation, which I have kind of got not kind of I've gotten a lot more into because it just helps to observe your thoughts. Often they're not not real. I mean, they can be real, but that's a whole other conversation. Fernando's asking for events. Do you use Google Calendar? Yes, I do. Uh, Colton is asking the 10 blocks of time idea. That was one of my OG bullet journal videos. I still think it's a really effective way. I think that once you have a pretty good idea on the time that you spend and how it's used, you have a pretty good lock on your time management. Then you don't have to like track the 10 blocks as much. But it's still really effective if you are kind of not sure where your time goes. The 10 blocks of time and the time tracking challenge, those are the two things that if you get to the end of the day and you're like, where the heck did all my time go? Then those two videos are good. Yeah, and if y'all are interested, again, if you go to let me bring out so I've brought this up so many times now. While y'all are here, I wasn't planning on doing this, but like I said, this I'm gonna basically take this down so it's not really going to matter. But I have so if you want to check this out, this is I've because I've brought it up, I know it's gonna be valuable for some of you. I've brought this up 7 or 8 times so far just in 30 minutes because it's so applicable. But I have a daily journaling course, and it's about habits and the 5 methods of journaling, especially like if you find yourself kind of stressed out, if you find yourself not able to stick to a journaling habit and that's something that you want to do, this course will help. And this course will help, and it should give you a $20 off coupon as well. So if you if some of this, especially like around creative confidence and consistency, check that out. It's $20 off. I'm going to do another launch later on, but this is going to be the lowest price you can get. Okay. Let's see. Ralph, going drinking. I hope soon. I'm ready to get back to going out drinking with people. Okay, let's see. Okay. Y'all, thanks for helping out, Nelson. Good. Yeah, Coach Pritch, good call. That's what I would recommend. One small piece of what you're procrastinating on and do that, get a small win. Yeah, and just start to add those up. Okay, I think we're good. I'm a little over time. Got to get ready for my next meeting. But thank you all so much for being a part of this. This is really fun. Gonna try and do these a little bit more consistently. I just wanted to hop on and say, hey, we'll probably do we'll probably do this a little bit more. I need to make sure that I can share screen with you next time instead of just being the live stream like this. So might need to give me a week to work on my setup. I also know because I've got it in, got it in the full focus planner here. I've got some big priorities coming up for the rest of the month and need to make sure that I'm giving my time to things that I've already committed to because I have a tendency to overcommit to things. So I don't know if any of y'all also struggle with that, even in a pretty wild time. But do me one more favor and check out the video from Saturday. Give it a watch. Leave it running like in the background, so you get that like full watch time. And YouTube's like, wow, a lot of people watching this video all the way through. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment so you're entered to win the giveaway for the full focus planner. There are a bunch right there. Yeah, that's them that I'm going to be giving away this month. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. This is fun, and we will, stay in touch. Sign up for the email list, and got a lot of cool stuff coming. Can't wait to share it with you. Thank you. Goodbye.